Welcome to Sandlot The Crew, where Sandlot Radio Show meets Wrecking Yard Baseball and Softball. I'm your host, Will Kiger, a.k.a. Wrecking Yard Will, and we are live from the Wrecking Yard here in Torrance, California, beautiful South Bay. I'm your host. I have Mr. Mason Morioka, owner-operator of Wrecking Yard, former Division I player and professional baseball player, also a diehard Dodger fan. Next to him, we have Mr. Nicholas Green. Led Penn High School to its first ever CIF title in his first year there. Good work, sir. He also is one of our coaches here who does a lot of lessons, helps out with the teams. And then we have young superstar on the rise, Nate Torres, heading our 9U. He plays at El Camino College right now. He is a catcher who has been under Mason for a long, long time, so we're very lucky to have him. And today we have a really good topic for you guys. We're going to start off with Shohei Ohtani, a little recap of his season, where he might land, and then we're going to get into some of the potential other free agents. So Shohei won MVP unanimously. Mason seems to feel like it shouldn't have been unanimous. I find that very debatable because nobody else is pitching and hitting. Some people tend to think he wasn't a top pitching arm, but if you look at the numbers, he was absolutely phenomenal.
But he got hurt, Will.
He did get hurt at the very end of the season, still put up crazy numbers. So, Greener, what did you think about Shohei's season and his performance, and was he worthy of the unanimous MVP?
I think that he put up a good season, pitching-wise, and also, of course, hitting. I think, though, that I feel like it's hard to give an MVP to somebody who gets hurt. Towards the end of the season, at least what makes him magical, which is him being able to, start and hit, him being down with the arm injury, and then even him having like little hiccups. I mean, like he got dinged up a couple of times hitting wise, couldn't even be in the lineup. So, I mean, to me, I feel like that should have gotten taken to a little bit more of account, even though numbers wise, he hit 50 jacks still, I think, or close to
44 home runs, led the MLB in slugging, OPS, weighted runs created, and had 44 home runs.
What was his ERA?
ERA was 3.14.
Yeah.
Opponent's batting average was 184. So to say he's not a top pitching arm, I think any staff would love to have a starting pitcher with a 3.1 ERA and opposing batting average of 184.
I think it just needs to be weighted or looked at, viewed the same as any other hitter in the American League, whereas like they don't have the opportunity to pitch. So to me, there's a reason why we have the Cy Young, why we have the MVP. To give him the, he led those categories. Those are great categories to lead in hitting, but I think that, there's other guys out there that were in that race that had justifiable numbers. And if you're going to immediately just go, well, I mean, because of his pitching numbers, I mean, that's, how can I compete then? If you're
You can't, and that's the point.
Yeah.
That is the point. When it comes to most value, by the definition, a guy who's a top starting pitcher arm and a top bat, how could anybody else be MVP? They really can't. So I think Shohei's going to run away with the MVP the next few years as long as he keeps doing what he's doing. Nate, what do you got?
I think social media helps him a lot. The glazing from the MLB Instagram page, every other post is Shohei Ohtani. The glazing is crazy.
Yeah.
If he was somewhere like Milwaukee or like somewhere not Los Angeles, I think there's not so much.
See, but I also don't think the Angels are a big market team.
Yeah, but they're in LA.
I agree with that. But, and kind of going back to the topic of MVP, now you take away defense, though. You got guys that can absolutely flash the leather, whether it's in the AL or the NL.
Mookie.
And that now is irrelevant when you got a guy like Shohei Ohtani. So to me, it's more, yes, I agree that you're looking at the most valuable player. And he does something that nobody else can do, right? But you have other guys that have done something similar to this. Rick Ankiel, Michael Lorenzen. You got guys that can do it, but have not been given the same opportunity that Shohei has been given. So who are we to really say that he is the most valuable player because he's given the most opportunity? Absolutely. But again, you look at other players in the AL that threw up just as good a numbers or close to as good a numbers as Shohei Ohtani. But again, now you take away the glove. You know, I was just sitting in the office the other day with Will and watching Cedric Mullins absolutely light up, you know, the highlight reel on his defense. You know, robbing home runs, making layout plays. But like with Shohei Ohtani doing what he's doing right now you don't give anybody else that could be an elite defender and an elite bat a chance to win the MVP. Mm-hmm. So to me, I think, again, you know, I think it needs to be reevaluated how an MVP is voted for.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a very valid point on the defense. I didn't think about that aspect. Definitely a good point to be made there. However, I do think pitching and hitting is more valuable than defense in this game right now. So let's move on to where Shohei may land. Reportedly, this morning I looked up, and it seems like the top contenders tend to stay on the West Coast with the Dodgers and the Angels. It's unclear if the Giants are in the conversation or not.
They're in.
Nate is a Giants fan, so I wouldn't be surprised if they are, though, because I think he does want to stay in the West, on the West Coast. They have the money. It makes sense. I could see him potentially landing the Giants. There's also the Cubs, Blue Jays, and it seems like the Mets, Rangers, and Red Sox have reportedly moved on. So, Mason, where do you see Shohei landing?
A very biased opinion here. Absolutely think he's going to end up with the Dodgers. I think he's going to end up with the Dodgers. You know, LA has the money. They have the cap space right now for him. You know, they just lost Kershaw. They're in need of starting pitching, even though he's not going to be able to pitch here in 2024. You know, look down the line here when he's 30. I was just talking to Angel about this. If he gets a solid, we'll call it a $35 million average annual salary.
It's going to be 50.
It's going to be freaking ridiculous,
It's
regardless
be 50.
of what it is. It's going to be freaking ridiculous.
Where are you getting 35?
Yeah, you're talking madness right now.
I think if they backload it, you know, because he's not going to be able to pitch this year, right? If they backload it, let's say they give him $35 million this coming year just to be their DH, and now they, you know, back end, you know, they give him 40 or 50 to pitch and hit. You know, but and something, this may not be popular opinion, but I think you get more longevity as Shohei Ohtani being a two-way player if you throw him in the bullpen.
I would front load it.
Because then he could throw more, and yeah, I see what you see by that.
I would front load the contract. I think you there's no way that you're getting away from that $500 million mark, which you think is about like 10 years. He's already 30. The money that he brings, if you bring him to the Dodgers and all that he'll bring in revenue, to me, you front load it, you call it a split, because if you backload that contract, what happens if he gets hurt again? What happens if Shohei's not Shohei in 4 years and now you're trying to trade that asset? No one's taking that asset.
No, but at the same time, you still have the bat. You may not have the arm, but you still have the bat.
What if he's like this year? He got dinged up quite a bit. I mean,
well, this is a top bat, but I think Shohei could potentially pitch late this year. He could come back onto the mound late in the season, especially around playoff time. The other thing is, I just believe that Shohei is obviously the highest recruited player there is on the market right now. Why would he choose to sign anywhere that's not going to give him $50 million? Because guess what? If you're not, there's 5 other teams that's going to. So I don't see him signing, regardless of his injury, anywhere for less than $50 million. You also got to take into account the ticket sales, the merch sales, everything else he's going to bring as being the biggest superstar in baseball right now.
Well, I think it depends on what matters to him. I mean, like, shoot, when he first came out, I don't think anybody thought he was going to go to the Angels. I mean, everyone thought, hey, if you're going to stay on the West Coast, it would have been the Dodgers. Now, there was the whole issue with I want to be able to pitch and hit. And at the time, DH wasn't around for the NL, so that changes things. But, I mean, I think off the get-go, he's obviously a different creature in the fact that, you know, that guy has had a ton of confidence in himself to be successful at what he does, both on the mound and hitting. He could have gone to anywhere and made big bucks off the get-go. For him to choose to go to a smaller market in LA when, I mean, it's clear that the Dodgers dominate, you know, Los Angeles. No one's really celebrating Anaheim. They haven't been good in 20 years. You know, that tells me that either that's a guy who understands, hey, I don't want to have all the spotlight. I want to just go to work every day and do my job. Or, hey, you know what? I want to take a team that is at the bottom and bring them to the top because I believe in myself that I can do that to a team. Like, to me, there's some tangibles there that I'm interested in seeing where he ends up, because I think that it's not your typical superstar.
If you had to pick a team right now, where do you think he ends up?
I told Mace the other night, I think a really interesting spot for him to go to would be the Orioles.
Yeah.
I think that would be like, I mean, just...
It is the exact opposite of the West Coast, though, which would make the travel more difficult.
Absolutely.
But
exact opposite. But I feel like you have a whole bunch of young guys. You have a guy like him that can insert himself in the starting role, hopefully, after this year, because he won't, really pitch. But I just think that would be, I'd be excited. I'd sit there and I'd be like, oh, man, like.
I would love to see it.
That would be a really cool team to see him on. I just think that from the young talent and what they have going on there, to have Shohei there, I can only imagine it would just be even bigger, his spotlight.
Nate, where do you think Shohei ends up?
I think he ends up on the Giants, but that's biased. I think it's smart for a smaller major league team like, the Royals or someone who isn't the Dodgers or the Yankees or the Padres to pick up a guy like that, because think of all the outside stuff that comes in, right? There was people coming from Japan all the way to buy season tickets and come and sit and watch every Angel game because Shohei Ohtani is there now. Like, a team like that could make, they're going to have to dish out a lot of money, but they can make so much more, like you said, with revenue, jersey sales, all the tickets. Season tickets will go up.
Yep.
Wherever Ohtani goes, season tickets are going to go up.
He could boost a city's entire economy,
exactly.
Especially a small market team. But to your point, Greener, what you said about him choosing to be in Anaheim, where he can kind of be, a little bit under the radar, I think he also realized that decision turned out to bite him in the ass, because he's on a team that's not competitive. He's not winning. Yeah. Now, Shohei's going to go somewhere where he can win. I guarantee you that. And I don't know if it's the Dodgers, the Phillies, Giants, Braves, who knows? But I definitely think he's looking to win.
You see, but now if we look back at the four top suitors, the Dodgers, the Angels, the Blue Jays, and the Cubs.
Yep.
Right? The Blue Jays right now are pretty irrelevant. Mm-hmm. The Angels are irrelevant. The only two teams.
The Blue Jays were borderline. They're making some aggressive moves this offseason. They could be a factor. I don't see him going to the Blue Jays, though.
No, I don't either. Because you think about the other thing too is cultural diversity, right? Here in Los Angeles, there's a lot of cultural diversity. The same in San Francisco.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he wants to go to a contender now. Yeah. He wants to win now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And with all of that being said, I think those two teams being the Angels and the Blue Jays, I think they're out.
Yeah, to be honest, as much as I hate to say it, I honestly think he's going to end up on the Dodgers. They have the money. They have the need. It's right down the street from...
Don't manifest that.
I know. It hurts me to say that, but I could really see that happening. There's also been rumors of the Dodgers aggressively pursuing Shohei and Mike Trout.
Oof.
Could you imagine if they pulled that off?
They're not.
I mean, just the star power alone would
They'd still be eliminated in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, it probably would.
You can't.
Dave Roberts would pull somebody throwing a perfect game in the fucking sixth inning and be like,
there's no way. There's not a chance that they could sit there and be able to sign both those guys with their contracts and pay Mookie and pay Freddie. There's just, you would have to fill out the rest of the lineup with like the veterans minimum.
Hey, Jason Hayward. Oh, that's exactly what they did with Jason Hayward last year.
Jason Hayward, as to put in crispy words, bum.
Nah.
Yes.
The guy got
coming
paid
into the Dodgers. He was a bum.
Absolutely.
He's been a bum. He had one good year with the Cardinals. He is a bum.
Hold on. Look at the track record, though, of what the Dodgers have done
to the veterans,
that
JD
everyone
Martinez.
else thinks is washed up.
Yeah,
JD Martinez.
Ride the coattails of everybody that's an all-star that's on the Dodgers, because that's what the Dodgers do. They go, okay, guys, this is their meeting, this is Jim. Okay, guys, who do we want to be on our all-star team? Who are the top free agent? We're gonna be the new Yankees of the West Coast here. Let's get Shohei for $500. Let's get Mike Trout for $300. Kurt, he's going to be an MVP first, and a Hall of Fame first. But let's just bring him back for like $250,000. I mean, you guys have literally assembled every year. I got to have this conversation with you. You have a blank checkbook, and you just go, here
Write
you go.
him off.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Honestly, Steinbrenner, the son, should go to like winter meetings and just shadow the Dodgers and go, this is how your father used to run the organization. This is what you need to do. This is how the Yankees get back. Not paying guys that are 40 years old like Stanton and paying them $50 million a year. Go wrap up these guys that are like still in the late 20s or at 30. Pay them gum.
See, but again, so I think that goes back to the player development. The Dodgers keep pumping out really solid young rookies that are big league ready. So to me, it's more of, yes, they have the farm system. So if they were to take on Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani, yeah, they're going to have to give up a little bit of the farm.
I'm not worried about the farm. I'm worried about the checkbook. You're paying luxury tax.
I don't see the checkbook being the issue. When you're the Dodgers or the Yankees, there's like you just said, they have a blank check, and they do.
Tax now. There's luxury
It's true,
tax.
but it doesn't matter. If you can bring in two of the biggest superstars, you're willing to pay that penalty. You can increase the value of your organization by a ton of money. I don't know what the values are. The Dodgers
how
are
well
valued
did that
out.
work out for the Mets?
Well, I mean, look what Mark Cuban just did in basketball. He bought the Mavericks for $400 million, and he just sold it for like $2 billion. So if you can bring in superstars like Shohei and Mike Trout, I think it could increase the Dodgers' value. Obviously, they're going to maybe not lose in the first round of the playoffs anymore. Very interesting topic. I think we're going to wrap this segment right here. When we come back, we're going to be discussing some more of the free agency. The next segment, we're going to be talking about the rule changes, the awards, MVP, Cy Young, all that good stuff. You're watching and listening to Sandlot and the Crew, where Sandlot Radio Show meets Wrecking Yard Baseball and Softball.